I don't know if we're back. I can't click over to chat. Restream went down. It's not telling me if anyone's on the chat, which is interesting. It's in the stream. Yeah, it completely isn't showing me the chat. I'm not sure. I'm really sorry, guys. I don't know if this is going to work today. The rest of it. Yeah, it's, and now I'm seeing tons of stuff now. Yeah, this is not good. I don't know what the problem is with Restream IO. But I mean, it is really, really bad, and it shouldn't be. I mean, I did this on Facebook forever. I never had any problems. And I hate the fact that Facebook Live might be better than this, because this is actually a paid product, man. So that's annoying. I'm gonna have to figure out what the hell's going on. I'm not quite sure where we left off. Oh, that's funny. Kimberly says, we interrupt this live stream to bring you an important public service announcements. All right, I gotta see if I can't click over to what Kat is saying, because she's probably gonna tell me what's going on. Hold on. Okay. Well, this was annoying. Good. So we are going to go back to the live reading, because that's annoying. That's annoying. It's okay. Jace tasting the burger for the second time. That's like ages back. Seriously, Melody? Oh my God. Okay. All right. I'm starting there. Try the burger again. Gehenna sounded ridiculously pleased with herself. Jace suspiciously raised the burger to his mouth again and took another mini bite. His expression changed to happiness, and he devoured another bite of it. What the hell? Jace spoke through a full mouth. It tastes great. I know. I adjusted your taste buds. Gehenna clapped her claws together, and her blood red eyes glowed brighter. Now everything in your meal should taste just as good as the best meal you've had, like this one. Jace was bobbing his head as he stuffed another ketchup-laden fry in his mouth. Dad's going to be on the ship too, Gehenna. Will the food taste as good for him? Once we get true human biology down, it should be quite tasty for him and any other human crew. You, of course, will always have the best experience because of our connection. Gehenna rocked back and forth on her metal feet with a clunking sound. Give Khoth his meal too, Jay said with a guilty glance at the plate that Gehenna had placed on the table while waiting on him. Oh, yes, of course. Gehenna set down the plate in front of Khoth. Khoth hadn't even noticed the second plate. He had no appetite, but knew the food intake was necessary for peak performance, so he would not refuse the meal. He was shocked, though, to look down and see a traditional Thafal meal called darlak. Greens, sweet tubers, and strips of protein seasoned with spices and oils. There's a cup of beh, which humanity would classify as a creamy soup. The familiar smells of his homeworld's food reached his nostrils, and his chest clenched. His Z shivered, and his Za shook. Koth, you okay? Jace asked, but then he shook his head. Of course you're not. It was really stupid of me to ask. I mean, this is the only dish my mother makes. Koth explained, understanding his reaction to the simple but nutritious food. She rarely has time to prepare a meal for me, but this she said she could make in her sleep. I've not had it in some time. Sympathy flashed in Jace's eyes. The Osiris shouldn't have done that. I'm glad it did. I wish to remember my mother from better times, Koth answered. You're not going to have to remember her. You're going to be talking to her in about 2 minutes. Okay. The ships have surrounded us, Jace said. Not just a paladin class either. Oh boy. The 5 sabers are down here. She's giving it a very good go. Koth forgot the food again. The hologram showed his mother still in her command chair, but also a view of the outside of the Osiris. The sun gleamed off the Altaeus ship's hull. It was more beautiful in sunlight than in the dark with all of its lights on. Or perhaps it was simply a different type of beauty. As Jace had said, the Paladin-class ships, 24 in all, surrounded the Osiris. They looked like dust motes in comparison to it. Even the Saber class were dwarfed by the Osiris. Then the light began as all the ships began to swarm the Osiris, shooting at key spots in the hull where they knew that traditionally Colossus-class ships contained cannons and the batteries for their shields. Bursts of light bloomed all over the Osiris as laser blasts impacted the shields. But Koth did not hear any sound of the bombardment inside. There were no shrieks of warning alarms of shield impairment either. Another hologram had appeared that showed a schematic of the Osiris and its shields. There were percentages shown over sections of the ship that received blasts. Jace took another bite of burger and chewed thoughtfully as he watched the percentages dip slightly before refreshing to 100%. Koth's eyes widened as he realized that the Osiris was absorbing the energy of the blast to restore the shields. The Osiris isn't at full power, but it's holding its own, Jace said as he dunked another French fry into the ketchup. It is doing more than that. They are not making a dent. It is doing more than that. They are not making a dent, Gehenna cheered. What about missiles? The Saber class are capable of firing a variety of tactical ballistic missiles with different warheads. Koth began to lecture as if Jace was a new recruit. Right, heat-seeking, electromagnetic, and a form of a sort of proton weapon, and others, Jace listed off. Yes, of course you would know this, Koth said absently. He watched as one of the Saber-class ships sent 2 proton missiles directly at one of the hangar bay doors of the Osiris. Both impacted with a staggeringly bright explosion. Koth shielded his eyes with one arm. He expected to feel a shudder and hear the impact of those weapons. But the Osiris remained silent, except for the click of Gehenna's metal heels on the floor. For a moment, Koth wondered if they really were being attacked at all, or if this was some kind of elaborate simulation. But he knew that this was happening, even if he wished that it was not. The light cleared, and there appeared to be no change. His gaze swung back to the schematic of the Osiris. The shields over the hangar bay door were down to 75%, but they rose again as more laser blasts repowered them. Will this happen with cool tech? Koth asked. No, it has a different signature, Jace said. Same reason why Altaeus tech works against the cool so well. I see, Koth said. A wave of unreality washed over him. It was absurd to be having lunch while his mother attempted a coup of sorts, and yet there was no danger. That's why Jace wasn't afraid and could eat French fries and his burger with ease. He was completely calm. Far more Thafel than myself, Koth realized with dark amusement. I think the light show has gone on long enough. They're getting edgy, Jace said as the blasts become more frantic somehow to his own eyes. What are you going to do? Koth asked. Unlike the Osiris, Koth knew that the vessels could be harmed by friendly fire. Would Jace simply have the Osiris use its weapons to destroy some of the ships or disable them at least? We're just going to flip the switch and take over control, Jace said, leaning back in his chair, chewing speculatively. All of the laser fire stopped. It didn't trickle off, but simply stopped. The ships, too, were suddenly all stationary. The skies of sunrise were amazingly clear once more, as all the spaceships hovered where they were. Koth's eyes immediately went to the hologram of his mother. She was leaning forward in her chair, fingernails and white knuckles white with strain, as she literally clutched the arms of her chair. Her eyes were huge and unblinking as she too watched a monitor of her ships falling silent and still. "What is the status, Commander Navud?" she commanded. A whip thin looking Thafel appeared by her side. Commander Benny Navud was in charge of the Asheton for over 20 grand cycles. He was his mother's closest confidant in the fleet. His expression was studiously neutral, but there were lines around his eyes that showed the strain he was under. "Our pilots report that they have no control over their ships, High Counselor Vor." Navud's voice was crisp. "What do you mean, no control?" His mother's brows drew together. "The ships are not responding to any of their inputs," Navud explained, and then opened his mouth as if to add more, but closed it. "What else, Commander?" she asked. "There appears to be no change to the Osiris's shields, even after our barrage," Navud answered. Her face went completely blank. Koth's heart clenched. She knew that the assault had utterly failed. What would she do? Contact Jace Shirley and have the Asheton target sunrise, her mother said. His mother said. Navud's brows drew together for half a second, which in the fell time was an eternity. "Is not sunrise a civilian? Are you questioning me, Commander?" His mother's voice was calm, but the words were like ice chips. Navud straightened. "No, High Counselor." He turned towards an officer off screen. "Defender Vignier, target the town of Sunrise." He looked at Koth's mother. "We're going to turn it into a crater if they do not comply," his mother said. Koth's shoulders slumped. His mother did not bluff. He knew she was not bluffing now. She would be as awful at poker as he was, in Thama's opinion. She meant what she said. He could barely look at Jace. But the young man appeared unsurprised. "Ah, looks like she's hailing us," Jace said as he dragged a fry through the ketchup. Okay, we're going to take a little break here. Make sure you're all with me still. Yeah, Rose saying it's laggy. Yeah, I know. There's not much I can do. It's a little bit better than it was, it seems. Matt said, "It's so difficult for Koth. He can't do the military thing because of the son thing. Sigh, the son mother relationship is tenuous at best. Sometimes it is. And in this case, they are on opposite sides of this matter." Abigail says, "I think a chokehold is suitable for Koth's mom. You can still press them to your body like a hug, and then your hand around their neck, choking them." Oh my God. Abigail says, "I want to hug and strangle her. That's why I suggested the chokehold." Lydia's like, "Yeah, but the deadly bear hug is also good." Yes, yes, definitely. Uh, Matt says, "Jace is going to have to pull back on knowing it all. Koth doesn't know what he knows, and it's not if he's not careful, he will step on Koth's pride, which right now is kind of fragile." I agree. I thought of that. Maybe Jace should have just like let him talk about it. But then I thought at the same time that um Jace sort of wanted to just move it along. Like, yeah, he knows it's fine. It's all good. Alexa says, "I made it late." Well, we had a whole stream go down. Um, yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Lurleen says she feels sorry for Nova. Yeah, she feels sorry. Yes. Like I was saying on the other stream, I really do believe that she is, how shall I say? She's in a tougher spot than I think that I'm able to really show because we're not showing it from her point of view. So we're just gonna go back. I'm gonna keep going. I'm afraid that this thing is gonna literally like die again. So I am going to actually continue reading because I do not want you guys to miss out on the rest of the chapter. So let me just get back to that. The hologram of his mother now showed a bunch of curved lines in the top right corner, which must have meant to Jace that she was hailing the Osiris. Jace did not immediately answer, but let the hail continue. You have grease on your chin, Jace. Mustn't let the Alliance see you with food on your face. Ganna reached over and dabbed him clean with a napkin, like a fond parent. Right, right. Jace ran his tongue over the fronts of his teeth. Any food stuck there, Koth? No, you look quite like a pilot. Koth awkwardly found himself staring at Jason's mouth. He dragged his eyes away and stared down at his own plate. He was so ashamed of all of this. How could Jace ever look upon him again with any respect, let alone affection? His mother had tarnished the Vor honor forever to suggest killing innocents. His mother's expression was getting grimmer and grimmer as, finally, Jace answered the hail as he sipped his coke. Hello, High Counselor Vor. Jace almost sounded cheery, though there was a touch of Arctic cold in his eyes. How pleasant for you to call. What can I do for you? Jace, she said with a small smile that hid what must have been confusion, you must turn over the Osiris to my control, or. Jace made a motion with his right hand as he took another sip of his drink with his left. She stared at him for long moments. Or the Ashatan will be forced to destroy Sunrise. You mean what's left of Sunrise after the cool attack here yesterday? Jace corrected her. Though there are plenty of innocent people left down there, children and the elderly, pregnant women and doting fathers, sons and brothers, daughters and sisters, grandchildren and grandparents, people who can do nothing to defend themselves from you. Isn't that right? With every word, Jace's voice grew colder and colder. His mother's expression grew quite blank. Navud's gaze did not leave Jace's. There was something in it, though, that showed horror. You can do something about it, Jace, his mother said. Just give me the Osiris and join our cause and leave Earth and its people defenseless for the next time the Cool appear, which they will. And likely soon, since your son and I destroyed a hive, Jace said. She regarded him again blankly. I want things to be crystal clear for everyone to understand, Jace said and gestured broadly. Yesterday, Earth was attacked by the Cool. This invasion was stopped by myself, your son, Flight Commander Pyrus, Gehenna, the Osiris, and members of the United States military. The Cool wanted the same thing that you want, the Osiris. The Cool and you want to take the Osiris by force. Her eyes blazed and her chin lifted. We are nothing like the Cool. No, you aren't, because the Cool didn't lie to me and humanity about coming here for a meeting to negotiate terms regarding the Osiris and myself helping you in the war against the Cool, Jace agreed, which I suppose makes the Cool more honorable than you in this regard. Koth wished he could sink into the floor. But he realized he had to take a stand. He had to make his mother see the insanity of this. May I speak, pilot? Koth asked. Of course you may, Commander Vor. I welcome your input as my second in command of the Osiris, Jace said with a rather bladed smile. Mother. Koth did not use her rank. He would not honor her that way. Stop this now. These actions are beneath the Alliance. They are not authorized by the Council. You are breaking the Alliance's treaty with Earth. She did not look at him. I have no son. That cut him to the quick. Jace's right hand shot over the top of the table to reach for him, but Koth gave him a brief shake of his head. He could not remain in control of his Za if Jace touched him at this moment. His cell sheet clacked as he moved, and he realized that he should have cut them off. He no longer was a part of the family that they represented. Jace, you need to turn the Osiris over to me now, or I will take steps, she said. The Osiris is shielded, but Sunrise is not. You're really going to do this, Jace murmured, sadly. Commander Navud, instruct Defender Vignier to fire a warning shot just outside of the town, his mother said. Navud did not move, did not speak. He was staring at Jace. It's okay, Commander, Navud. Go ahead and do it. You don't want to get in trouble by doing what's right, do you? Jace says softly. You're just following orders. You're not responsible for killing innocent people who have done nothing to you. Khoth watched as Navud remained silent and still. Commander Navud! His mother yelled, her face bluing. Fine. If you will not give the order, I will. Defender Vignay, fire on Earth! The camera showed a female Thafal who was sitting quietly at her station. Her hands were in her lap. Her gaze went from Navud to his mother. Then she said, I request to be released from duty, High Counselor. I cannot comply with your order. His mother leaped from her chair, snarling, I will do it then. His mother threw Defender Vignay from her seat and used the controls herself. She looked up at Jace through slitted eyes. Khoth hardly recognized her. Will you give me the Osiris, Jace? She asked. You know I can't. Otherwise, I will sentence all of humanity to death by the Ghoul, Jace told her. You know this. Then I have no choice, she said, and stabbed the command screen. Everyone cringed, waiting expectantly to see a beam leave one of the Ashaton's heavy cannons and strike the earth. Except, of course, nothing happened. She pressed it again, and again, and again. It's all right, everyone, Jace said with a heavy weight in his voice. It's over. What do you mean? His mother asked, even as she kept pressing the button. Jace smiled sadly as he said, all of your ships are now under my command. You will be brought to the Osiris to face judgment. And that is the end of chapter 36. Let's see what we got going on here. I can actually my God, I can scroll. It's amazing. Angelica says Khoth has to understand that even he's all for honor, he has nothing to do with his mother's actions. But Jace is fast to clarify this for Khoth. That's so crucial at this moment. Yes, it's important. They are separate. I mean, the thing is, Khoth's culture is very much, though, family honor and stuff. Although by being in exile, I think he's going to learn a lot from Thamas, particularly about, I would say making your own way and, only being responsible. You can't be responsible for other people's actions, I guess. And you can't be weighed down by them. But he still, he has to join a new family. Carolyn says, wow, Jace plays for keeps. Hell yes. Delta's Matt says, I have no son. The foremost hurt for words. Said it drills a hole into your heart. A part of you leaks out. It does. It really, really does. It's really, yeah. Lily says, ouch, poor Khoth. He needs hugs. He definitely needs hugs. Helen says she misses you all. You guys are talking, so I won't disturb that. Virginia says, yes, Khoth needs a big bear hug, without the deadly part, though. Abigail's like, girl went into savage mode. She did. Helen's giving Khoth hugs virtually. Melody says, aha, that was so good. Yay. Alexa says, go Jace. Kimberly's like, oh, snap. Pam says, the end of the chapter is so epic. Abigail says, it was, she's talking about what she's eating there. So talking amongst yourselves. Sophie says, this must be so difficult for Khoth to watch. He needs a ton of hugs from Jace. He does. It's like watching your whole world crash and burn, and everything that you thought about yourself, your family, what they taught him, is lying in ruins. And somehow you have to keep it together and you can't react, because then you're bringing more dishonor upon yourself. And he also, and I don't know if this is true, but I had been taught that, in Sparta, it was really important that they encouraged like lovers within the ranks of the army and stuff, because they thought that you would fight harder in front of your lover, that you would be braver, because you didn't want to dishonor yourself in their eyes, that you loved them and you wanted them to see you as a hero. And I think for Khoth, he thinks that clearly this is going to impact how Jace sees him. He doesn't want to be pitied. He wants to be seen as like, he wants to be able to say like, this is legitimately who I am and I believe this, but it's hard for him because, his mother just seems to have totally lost the plot. Um, so he's having to deal with this in front of Jason. That's even harder. I think that's harder. Lydia says, "Oh, but we have yet to talk about Khoth's genitals." No, we have not. We have to do that. Crystal says, "Oh, wow, that was so great. Jace is awesome. I feel so bad for Khoth. His mother has gone bonkers." Yeah. Melody says, "Khoth will be loved in his new family." Yes, he will be. Sophie says, "Can we have 3 chapters of just Khoth getting hugs?" Let's see what we got going on here. Daniela says she finally made it live. I usually listen until it's all posted. I know, when we had a major technical malfunction too. Crystal says Jace and Khoth will have to talk. He needs to understand that Jace can separate his actions from his mother's. I think he does in some way understand that, but he worries. He doesn't know if he can for himself. And I think sometimes what we think about ourselves is far more powerful than what others think of us. Yeah, Saya's like, "Oh, yeah," and lots of kisses during those 3 chapters of hugging. Abigail, they're still planning the structure and thickness and how to make this perfect fighter. I missed out on what the hell that was going on there. Matt says, "Yes, it's true. There were several gay battalions in ancient Greece." Yeah, that's what I had thought, and I thought that made total sense to me. Because if you have your lover there, A, you're gonna fight harder for them. You're definitely gonna fight harder. But I also think that, how you're seen, it's very hard. Okay, so everyone's talking about brownies and lava cake and cookies. Goodness gracious. That all sounds very good. Spicy. So, um, next month, just to give you guys, well, tomorrow for members, and non-members too, you can look at this. I'm going to be putting up the Everdark Academy art, and we have a very big and special thing to have you guys have fun with. I cannot wait to share it with everyone. Some of you have already experienced it as you were our lovely beta testers. This is really going to be beta testers type 2 to make sure that it's like good. It's very cool. Kat, Kat and I and Mathia made it in the sense that I made the questions with Kat's help and Mathia did the art, but Kat did the programming, which is really spectacular because it's not like this is her job, but she did anyway, somehow managed to do it. And we're gonna have that. I'm gonna really like do that tomorrow, I think. I've got to put up this stuff and see if it works, but I won't announce it until tomorrow. But I'm very excited to show you that. So that's gonna happen tomorrow because that's gonna prepare because Everdark Academy should end in January. I'm sorry, Everdark will end in January. Everdark Academy will start in February. We are going to have a very, very exciting 2021. It's always exciting when a serial ends, a new one begins. We're going to have 3. So it's going to be pretty spectacular. It's going to be pretty damn spectacular. So I really hope that those of you who can, sign up, and those of you who are members can continue on. I know that money is tight for everybody right now, but we really truly appreciate it. And we want to make sure we're giving you your money's worth. For those of you who don't have the cash right now, that's totally fine. Empire of Stars is open to everybody. And we're going to continue to do the Dragon's Reign podcast, which you can follow along. There'll be books, do free books all the time, and we try to do that at least once a month, and all the kind of good stuff. So I'm going to miss all these stories too. It's very, very hard for me to end them, and so I'm trying to parse them out because there's a lot of work comes with a new serial coming in, and obviously old stories. But Crystal says, "Now I'm torn. I don't want Everdark to end, but Everdark Academy sounds awesome." Well, you're not really losing. You're getting more characters. Let's put it that way. You're not really losing people. So, and it's going to be totally fun with basic Balthazar and K-Morn running the academy together, like the ultimate odd couple. Lydia says, "I don't have the money." That's fine, Lydia. All you have to do is just, you can watch the live stuff. It's not a big deal. I understand. I was there too. I loved having that choice. Love in quotes. Very ironic between buying a Diet Coke and renting a movie, and that just shows how old I am. But we're gonna have a lot of fun things coming up. And I really hope that you are with me for the new year in whatever capacity you are able to be with us. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. So I'm going to stop the live stream now, but oh wait, there's questions. Delta's Matt says, "Will the series after Dragon's Reign be connected?" No, it is called The Wicked Path, and it is a twincest retelling of Hansel and Gretel, but with witches and really awesomeness. I'm telling you now, if you like Sinners and Ashes, you are going to like The Wicked Path. I sincerely hope. Hollis says, "I love all your books, Ray. Thank you." Melly says, "Just started reading Everdark, so Everdark Academy is going to be amazing." Yes, I hope so. Thank you. Following YouTube. That's all good. Yeah, telling your friends, listening, sharing it is really good. It's going to be a good time. Yeah, we're going to have also sort of like a dark Batman-esque demon thing. It's going to be really cool, called Labyrinth, which is I've been wanting to write forever, which we're going to do. Virginia says, "It's a gay though." Everything is gay. Twincest is gay. It's gay, guys. Yeah, Lily's like, "The Wicked Path sounds interesting." Yes, you will like it. I hope. All right. So a lot of exciting things. So expect more information as we go. Again, thank you so much. I really take care. I really appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Bye.